John does not begin with a baby. He begins with reality itself. Before anyone meets Jesus in Galilee or Jerusalem, John tells the audience how the whole story must be read. The Word was with God, the Word was God, and the Word became flesh. So this gospel is not a rise to fame story. It is a descent story. The one through whom all things came to be has stepped into the world he made. That is why John's tragedy is so sharp right from the start. The world receives its own maker as a stranger. That is also why witness matters so much in John. John the Baptist is not the light. He is the witness to the light. The first disciples do not begin with certainty. They begin with testimony. Come and see. That is John teaching the reader how faith works in this book. Most readers will not get private miracles. They will get witnesses, words, signs, and the challenge of whether to trust what those things are revealing. Then the signs begin. At Cana, Jesus turns water into wine, and John says that this sign revealed his glory. That line is a control verse for the whole gospel. In John, signs are not stunts. They are disclosures. They do not exist mainly to amaze a crowd. They exist to reveal who Jesus is. So Cana is not just abundance. It is new creation abundance. Joy at impossible scale. A sign that ordinary categories are no longer enough. Then Jesus goes to the temple and acts as if the meaning of the temple itself is now tied to him. When he speaks of raising the temple in 3 days, the narrator later explains that he was speaking about his body. That is one of the most radical claims in the whole book. John is already relocating divine presence, not by discarding Israel's story, but by saying that Israel's deepest symbols now converge in Jesus. Then John introduces a pattern he will use again and again: misunderstanding. Nicodemus comes with respect, but not with understanding. He sees signs, yet he cannot grasp what Jesus means by being born from above. He hears repetition. Jesus means origin. Nicodemus hears biology. Jesus is speaking about spirit-generated life. Immediately after that, John takes the same pattern into Samaria. A Samaritan woman hears Jesus speak of living water and first thinks about a well. But unlike Nicodemus, she keeps moving. She becomes one of the first people in the gospel to carry a witness about Jesus to others. John makes the contrast obvious. The respected insider stalls, the outsider advances. Recognition in this gospel is never distributed along neat status lines. Then the stakes rise. Healing and feeding do not produce one clean wave of belief. They produce arguments. The crowd wants bread, security, and a king they can use. Jesus offers himself as bread from heaven. The listeners want problems solved at the level of appetite and politics. Jesus speaks about life that comes from above and cannot be reduced to ancestry, ritual familiarity, or material need. That is why John 6 is a turning point. People love the bread sign. Fewer want the reality the sign points to. When many turn back, Peter's answer becomes the honest model for Johannine faith. Not, we understand everything, but where else would we go? You have words of life. In John, faith is often not certainty first. It is recognition that life is speaking here in a way it is not speaking anywhere else. So, what is John doing in these opening chapters? He is making one sustained claim. Jesus is where light, life, truth, and divine presence now meet human beings. Water points, bread points, temple points, witness points, everything points. Conclusion. If you wanted the first third of John in one sentence, it would be this. The world does not just need one more teacher dropped into history. It is being visited by the one through whom history exists. And the first question John puts to every reader is simple. Will you stop at the sign, or will you follow where the sign is pointing?